Hello, everyone, and welcome to LFC Transfer Room, also known as Kev TV, also known as Hunting for a Number 6. Today, all the news stories unsurprisingly connect us with DMs all over the world. The current trend on Twitter at the moment is Sofyan Amrabat, and we're going to talk about all the six. We're going to talk all the sixes. Honestly, there's so much six talk. You're going to be six to the back teeth of us. But to help get through this, we've got Race, we've got Harmony, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Kev TV, who needs to change his Twitter title to Kev TV. And we've also got all you guys joining us. So if you have got questions, put them in the chat. We'll star them. We'll come to them at the end. We've got a bit of an agenda to go through. Unsurprisingly, there's a lot of sixes within this agenda. But start with Kev. How are you doing, mate? How are you feeling?
All good, mate. All good.
Positive? More positive after a crappy weekend of...
I was kind of, we can look at it as defeated after what the debacle of the weekend, but it was never going to happen in my eyes. So I wasn't too much into it. But no, I'm all good, mate. I'm good. I've got 2 days left in work, and I've got about 12, 13 days off. So I'm kind of excited.
You're doing some big dealings, aren't you, for the transfer window as it closes? Are you driving?
Surprisingly, I am in Portugal at some point.
There you go. Kev TV on tour. Harmony, you've offered your services, haven't you? And I don't think Liverpool are far away from probably giving you a call. Kev's agreed to be your agent.
Yes.
How are you doing? Are you fit enough? Are you ready?
Yeah, no, fit enough. That might have to be. I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit. But anything for the badge. But yeah, I'm not doing too bad.
A Race. Hopefully the interview went well. Good to have you back on. How are you feeling, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I just had personally a lot of stuff going on myself, but of course, seeing all this news with Chelsea coming in and just taking these midfielders, it's been a lot to deal with, and now we're like you said, we're talking about six. Let's talk about six, baby.
I feel like there's going to be loads. So do you know what? I'm going to start with the most recent one on Twitter, the social media and stuff like that is Sofyan Amrabat. Linked to Liverpool. I think someone's already said in the chat that it's the same person who connected Timber to Arsenal is connecting Amrabat to us. Now, I'm going to be really honest, Kev. I'm not a big fan. I don't think he's necessarily what we're looking for. I mean, we don't know what we're looking for right now, but his tackle success, his tackles were 1.8 per game, bottom 37% interceptions, less than one a game, bottom 40% blocks, bottom 17% clearances, bottom 37% aerials, bottom 25%. Doesn't really sound like a strong DM to me.
It doesn't. He looked good in the World Cup. A lot of people were tagging on to him at the end of that, but there's a few things with this that I'm not too tentatively happy with. He's coming from Italy, so there's one issue already. We don't usually do well with them. You've got. I'm still scarred from Aquilani playing for us. Never mind bringing another one in. Then you find out that he's Moroccan, and then you think of African players, and then you start thinking of Salif Diao and El Hadji coming in the with our notably not best of signings from that. So you're already on the back foot. You're also on the back foot anyway because he's got the AFCON in January. So you're gonna have to find an alternative to him. So there's a lot of negative about it, but I think it's very underwhelming. I think the way we were from last week and the money that's being touted that we've got to spend, it's a little bit underwhelming for me that we're spending it on the cheap. And is that because we're looking for alternatives in other positions, or we're looking for another place in the midfield? I don't know. We play differently to Fiorentina in a sense. So, I look at stats, but you can look at the league, you can look at the team that he plays for, not the type of style of football, type of football we'll play. May necessarily see those actual stats go in a different way. Alternatively, I'm not. I'm with you. I'm not a big fan. I'm not overly sold on it, but I don't know what I want, to be honest, because the main players that we were actually linked with, we're not really. We're going around the list again, aren't we? So it's, the one I am is probably the next one that we're going to talk about, which will be Doucoure. I'd be more willing to spend money on him than spending on a player who's 26 and hasn't really done much for me. But that's my opinion on it.
Jen, as always, really appreciate the support to the channel. We have a list of 6s, Jen, and I want to know which one you want. There's so many links with us today. Please get your 6 choice on there. But Jen, as always, I really appreciate all the support that you give to the stream. Now, Harmony, you might be surprised when you start to look at the statistical comparisons. So FBref does this really good thing where it looks at their data and it tells you what players are like them. Yeah. And players that are like them are Jordan Ferry from Montpellier, ex-Liverpool Academy, Pedro Chilivella, ex-Liverpool Academy, Koke, and Jorginho. So he's more a distributing DM than he is a tackling DM. Yep. And I think in a high press team, which is what I think Klopp's trying to create with, McAllister and Szoboszlai, I'm not necessarily sure we need a deep lying playmaker, because if you're going for that, why not just play Trent?
Exactly.
What do you think?
Exactly. 100%. It's true. Everything you just said is true. We don't need a playmaker in that position. We need, yes, he definitely needs to take that position. Big Kev definitely needs to take that position. He'll be doing a better job, honestly. Yeah, and he'll probably listen to us as well, because obviously he knows about the show. So yeah, he'll get it done. Yeah. So for me, we need a guy that's just gonna break down play and just distribute the ball to McAllister and Szoboszlai and let them get the ball rolling up there, and just making sure that defense is protected and it's not easy to break down or get out of defense. That's all we need. We don't need someone that could create from the back. We really got a Trent. We really got a Szoboszlai. We really got a McAllister. We really got a Mo Salah. We got these players that could create already, so we don't need a deep line playmaker. That's something that Trent is going to be doing. We just need someone that can sweep the ball, clear up, spot the danger, and just get us out of trouble when we need him. So for someone like Amrabat, yes, he's a great player. Yes, we were interested in him during the World Cup, but that's just World Cup hype. Every single player, the whole Enzo situation, he's not worth 105 mil, but it was all because of the World Cup, because of the way he performed and everything. That's why his price tag went up. So I'm not too sure about Amrabat. Would I take him? No, I wouldn't. So that's where I stand with it. No
race. Charlie, member for 14 months, taking another player off United. Yes, please. I mean, from that idea, yeah, it sounds great, but I'm not a big fan of their transfer approach, to be completely honest. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean that you think about stealing a player off the night. Well, cool, but then I will just probably target someone else. So in the end, it's kind of it doesn't really matter there. But an interesting kind of point to make. But yeah, I agree with all you guys. Amrabat, certainly, I think the negatives or the doubts that you'd have about the player coming in, I think outweigh maybe of the positives that you would see. Again, the World Cup boost, you see that each time we have it, someone's they perform well with their country, and of course we know playing internationally versus playing with your club, you can see two types of players sometimes. And so, not to say that Amrabat wouldn't be a good player. And I'm of the belief, we're at the point of just kind of desperation and getting any sort of player in. So, if we'd bring Amrabat, plus another guy, maybe it'd be good. But I think Amrabat on his own wouldn't necessarily be the right move for us. And like you mentioned, of course, Kev, with AFCON too, that's another fill-in we have to deal with later on this season. And of course, when we were linked a little bit with Amrabat back in January after the World Cup. That was, I think, seen more as kind of a temporary move, or just to kind of get us through the season, because we knew our midfield was so dull and just not firing, not good at all. And so to come back to him now after ideally in the summer window we're getting someone more long term, it wouldn't really make sense to now go back and look at him as a long-term situation. We kind of want someone who's a little younger, and I'm sure we're going to talk about Doucoure. That's another great player as well. He's a younger guy, and would make more sense than signing Amrabat, who would Of course, again, take some time to fit into our team. Doesn't, like you said, more of a deep line playmaker than someone who's, going after the ball and making those, tackles and whatnot. I think we need to look for a player more of that caliber than with Amrabat.
Now, if you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel. This is a fan channel made for fans by fans. We do it for the love of Liverpool and for Kev TV. Anything we can do to support Kev in his daily life, I'm just going to keep winding him up. And because we've got over 9,000 subscribers, one of the best things ever to happen has happened. Tomorrow, live on stream, Damo, the biggest FSG out you can imagine, is going to be delivering his heartfelt love poem to John W. Henry live on stream. I can guarantee you I'm tuning in for it, because I'm just going to play it on repeat every time he gets angry about FSG out and treat it like he's doing it truthfully. So thank you everyone to that subscribe. Thank you everyone for that's become a member so far. We really appreciate it. But if you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate all the love and support that you give the channel, and obviously we enjoy doing this for you as well. Now, the next player I'm going to want to go to, Kev, is I want to talk about Ibrahim Sangare. Unlike Amrabat, top 77% for tackles in midfielders in Europe, top 19% for blocks, top 12% for clearances, top 14% for aerials won. Successful take-ons, progressive passes, top 9% for that. Successful take-ons, top 13%. He seems more a Liverpool-style defensive midfielder who can sort of control and progress with the ball, and a lot better than Amrabat. What are you thinking about Ibrahim Sangare? Plettigol said it was us and Bayern, but Plettigol have said Bayern are out of the running. They're not really going for this. So what do you think about Sangare as an option?
I'd sooner have him as an option than Amrabat. Not only for his physicality, 6'3", so you've got a player who's going to be physical and dominant in there, and I'll be more over that. Again, it'll be a release clause. I'm quite happy with buying, bringing him in for about 30, 35, whatever the release clause is. I'm bringing him in, but again, he's Ivory Coast, so again, we're looking at another person that needs to be brought in as well. We're going to have this issue, and we're looking for a 6 in probably the worst possible time, because in the summer we are going to in January you got the AFCON on, so I know it shouldn't rule out most African players, but because that's going on, you're losing a player for 3, potentially 4 weeks, maybe longer, and then you've got to look for an alternative that can come in. Now, if these come in and do a really good job, we're going to be fuming that we're going to lose them, and in those 4 weeks could make or break a season. So it's all very well having these intellectual, right? We're going to get these, but there's got to be some kind of. Is this the short term? Is this what we're going to look for in January? Is there an alternative that can come in that is young enough, versatile, and provide us with what we need? Or are these the only options that we've got left? Is that where we are now, where we are looking at the scrapes of our list? And unfortunately, the ones that were at the bottom were everyone that was listed and maybe potentially going to the AFCON. So, I'm not using that as an excuse as to why you shouldn't be looking at them, but are there alternatives? Someone's mentioned Gravenberch there. But then you're buying two defensive midfielders to compensate one that will be going away in January for 3 to 4 weeks. So it's whether or not they're going to get enough game time as well between them if you bring them in. So there's a lot of factors that need to be looked at, and I think that's why you're probably seeing a lot of these players near the bottom. I would be happy with Sangare. I would be, but again, we are he's a year younger than Amrabat, so you're already gaining in that sense. But for me, again, we're looking at players that not necessarily we were looking at or would be at the top of our lists.
Now, just I put it up whilst Kev was talking. Liverpool are now informed Sofyan Amrabat, as AD reported, no formal bid made yet, just contact to be informed of the conditions of the deal. So again, probably rightly so, were contacting them saying, right, what are the deals? What are your terms? What are you trying to do for this? And one of the comments here, Harmony, we've got, can you remind me how tall N'Golo Kante was? And this is probably one of the downfalls of Sangare when you compare him to someone like an N'Golo Kante. Obviously, Kante was high energy, high pressing, sprinting into everything. Sangare is bigger, a bit more cumbersome and stuff like that. Does he negate the Klopp press that he was trying to build into this midfield? Because Lavia and Caicedo are a lot more N'Golo Kante-esque, more than big powerhouses.
Yeah. The thing is, we won't understand exactly how this team is going to play until we get a 6. Because right now we're everywhere. Are we a high pressing team? Are we a possession team? Are we building from the back? We don't know yet because we ain't got a stable midfield yet. So Sangare, I feel like he's a mixture of both. He can play that. I feel like he can play the high press and he can play that dogged, just keeping possession and trying to build from the back. But I'm just thinking of it. He's a player from Holland. How long is it going to take him to adapt to the league? How long is it going to take him to adapt to the speed? How long is it going to take him to adapt to to how Klopp wants to play? Those are the type of questions that I'm thinking about. Those are the type of things that I'm thinking about. Because what we need right now, we need a player that comes in and just goes straight into the team. We don't need a player that's going to take about 2 months, 3 months, just like Fabinho did, to kind of embed himself into the team and embed himself into the league and understand the pace and everything. That is where that's where the issue comes when you're looking at these foreign players. Are they going to be adapting to the league quick and adapting to the way that we want to play quick enough for us to play them straight away, or do we have to get them to start the game from the bench? That is what my concern is. So that's probably why I'll probably go with the Doucoures, what's the guy's name from Fulham?
Palhinha.
Palhinha,
yeah. Those that's why I'll go for those type of players, because they're used to the league, they're used to the speed of the league and everything. So it won't take them too long to really adapt to how Klopp wants to play, because they're so used to playing in the league already. So that's where I kind of stand when it comes to that Sangare.
Now, Damo's put this. Obviously, I put it up while things. So we did talk about this. Damo, tomorrow is your day. Tomorrow is Poem Day. Love Poem. John W. Henry. If you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you tune in tomorrow for FSG out, biggest FSG out in our group, doing a love poem to John W. Henry, because we've got over 9K subs. Race. When you look at who Sangare is statistically comparable to, there isn't really many. And I think Harmony brings up a great point of Dutch players converting to the Premier League isn't always the smoothest transition. Obviously, Suarez took a few months. I think he took 6 months till he really exploded. And he was probably one of the best in the world. So if we do go outside the Premier League, that's a massive risk, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of always, the risk when you think about buying from other leagues and stuff. But of course, we did, bring in Gakpo from PSV in January. It took him a little bit of time, but then it eventually hit the ground running. Now, different position, obviously, so it's not always going to be a similar transition, of course. And we know the Premier League, how physical it is, how strong, and just how much more, strong, really, how you have to be. But we've of course, we've done a lot of business, grabbing from the Portuguese league and whatnot, and other places. So it's kind of the situation we've kind of put ourselves in right now, because we're looking to get anything right now. We're getting all these links to all these players and stuff, and so it's a little, we can't really be as selective, or our options are kind of down because of the position we're in. And so, of course, there's a couple Premier League players that we've been linked to today as well. I wouldn't be too concerned of bringing a player from another league, because again, we've done it before, and it's certainly possible to do. But you're right; it's definitely something to think about. Just how quickly that player can get adapted to our system. And of course, we want a 6 to play right away. but that's not always the case. I remember when we bought Fabinho first off, it took him some time to feel really, hit the ground running in that position. So, again, would have loved to have the move done, this position filled, earlier, but that's just where we're at right now.
Yeah, and sorry to cut you off there. I just want to add another thing. It's just that we are not in the position where we can bring in. Obviously, I know the foreign playing thing. We've been doing it with the whole Gakpo situation, but with that, we had attackers that that could give him time to adapt to the league. It wasn't like he has to come in and start straight away the way the six will have to. So we don't have that luxury. If we had a Fabinho and we bought someone else from abroad, then it would have been like, fine, because, we have someone already there that can, give him time to actually adapt to the league, adapt to the system. But because we don't have that luxury right now, it's kind of difficult for us, to go for someone from outside. That's why I'm kind of against going for someone that's, outside the Premier League right now.
Okay. We're going to do one more outside the Premier League because the next player on the list is Ryan Gravenberch. For tackles, he's in the top 22%. For interceptions, he's in the top 31%. For clearances, he's in the top 23%. But also his shot creating actions, top 7%. Progressive passes, top 21%. Progressive carries, top 25%. Successful take-ons, top 20%. Kev, Ryan Gravenberch is more of a fully rounded midfielder. He's not just a specialist DM. He's one of these players that can seem to play everywhere. Bayern seem to want to get rid. Is he not? We've been linked with him all summer. Why haven't we gone in for this player yet?
Because I think there's doubts over the player. He very limited time at Bayern. If it was the player at Ajax, I'd be all over it. I would. If you're getting that player who's just left Ajax and has played the amount of games that he has, the amount of games he played last season for Bayern is kind of makes me think, well, one, has he not adapted to the style of play of Bayern? Has he not adapted to the league? But more so, it adds to the mentality of the player because he's gone in there with the potential, and Bayern have bought on the potential of what that player can be. The question marks would be: has he reached the ceiling already? And are you going to get? Is he going to fulfill where he needs to be? The lack of game time for me is a worry because we'll be wanting, as Harmony has said, that we want these to come in straight away and do a job for us. He hasn't played all that much game time last season, and you're asking him to come in straight away and do play in a league that plays 100 miles an hour. There's more likelihood of him breaking down than what it would be of him, and then that then diffuses the issue then, because you've then got the problem of a player that you brought in and is now you're now on the back behind the black ball because he's injured, so you're stumped. Again, he's young, he's versatile. You're buying a player based on potential. Is it the answer? I don't know. For me, I'm in two minds. I'm apprehensive more about Gravenberch because of the lack of games he's played last season, and that's the kind of worry I've got, especially with a player who's only 21 as well.
Harmony, only 576 minutes, 24 appearances. So it sounds like a lot of appearances, but it's only 576 minutes. So that's off the bench.
Yep.
€175 a week, 175,000 euros a week. So he's on big wages and he's not going to want to take a massive drop. Almost feels a little bit like an Arthur type signing, wouldn't it? If you were to get him in, like he looks good on paper. Obviously, Arthur played for Barcelona, then I think it was Juve, and then came to us.
Yeah.
It feels good on paper, but actually, when you dig into the data, it probably isn't as good as it sounds.
No, yeah, I'm with Kev. I do have concerns in terms of the player. If he was from Ajax, like Kev said, 100%, I would have took him along and been like, yeah, 100%, let's sign this kid. But what is it that Bayern Munich is seeing in this kid that they're not playing him? There must be a reason why they're not playing him. They can't just be like, yeah, we don't want to play you for the sake of it. There must be something there that us as as fans and as viewers are not seeing that Bayern Munich is seeing every single day in training, and that is something that is concerning me, and that's something that's making me, you know, a bit more reserved in terms of like being confident for us to go out there and actually pay the money for the kid. If he's gonna be like a backup, then fair enough. You know, he can. I don't mind. That'll be like another body in that midfield, which will be good. But if he's gonna come in and he's gonna be like a first team starter, I don't know. I don't feel too confident with the kid. You never know. Maybe he's just like, you know, maybe the wrong club at the wrong time, maybe the wrong manager. You know, maybe he just needs a new environment to kind of kick off his career all over again. You might see like the player that we saw at Ajax that was dominating, you know, driving the ball and, you know, creating all these chances for his teammates. So that could be another angle. But for right now, is a bit concerning for Liverpool and especially for him, you know, for big club like Bayern, for him to be like, yeah, we're not going to play as much. It's a bit concerning.
Well, and I'm assuming Charlie's put this race, so I'm just going to put this question to you. Why did Chelsea not play Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, Lukaku? Some clubs are just stupid. Yeah. Maybe Bayern's one of them.
Yeah, true. Like I said, he might just need a new environment, and I feel like we're in that is a bit difficult to kind of look at in that perspective, because Kevin De Bruyne was a young kid. He didn't have the experience, so he had to go out to, you know, to Wolfsburg,
like a 21-year-old.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I'm trying to say, because you got to remember, Kevin De Bruyne left Chelsea, which was a big club, to go to a smaller club, which is Wolfsburg, to get the experience, to get the game time, you know, to build the confidence. The same thing with Mo Salah. He had to go out on loan, and then eventually he got sold to get that experience, to get that confidence. So maybe, like I said, but if he leaves Bayern and he comes to Liverpool, he's not going to a small club. He's going to a bigger club. So it's like, it's even more pressure. You're wearing a badge that's gonna, you know, that's gonna hold a lot of weight, and you're coming into a season where the fans are looking at you like with expectations. The fans are looking at you to, you know, perform much better. So it's not the same situation with those players. It's too different. They went to smaller clubs to get the experience. He's gonna come to an even bigger club where he has to perform. It's gonna be even more pressure for him to perform. You know, so that's the difference there.
I kind of get it, you know, but Race, what do you think? Because obviously Salah went to Rome, from Chelsea to Roma, so you could argue Salah took a step.
Fiorentina, he went to first.
Fiorentina, yeah. Gravenberch, I mean, Ajax, big club, big support. Bayern, big club, big support. Yes, Liverpool are a big club, big support, but I think one of the consistencies between both Bayern, Ajax, and Liverpool is the fans get behind the players. They don't boo and hiss, and, you know, a bit like West Ham's a classic example of just getting against the players. Juve at the moment with Lukaku potential links, that's all gone left. What are you thinking on the Gravenberch? Can you see it working? Do you think it's just wrong club, wrong time? Do you think he was built for the Premier League, or do you just think he's not really the six we're looking for, therefore he would be a squad player, and for 175 grand a week, which is the top of Liverpool's budget, probably not worth it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, you know, how much of his value has dipped from, you know, last summer, moving from Ajax to Bayern, and now this summer. And yeah, you know, as a player too, you know, if you're Gravenberch, you're 20 years old, and all of a sudden Bayern are interested in you. You know, why would you not make that move? You know, like a team that's that big, you know, like, wow, this is great. This big club's interested in me. You know, I'm going to make this move happen. And then he gets there, and then all of a sudden it's you know, maybe not what he thinks. There's obviously more expectations, you know, better squad as well. You know, they have a lot of good players, you know, at Bayern in that midfield. And so now I think maybe he got there and it's just like, well, maybe this isn't, you know, the situation for me. You know, maybe I made this move too soon. You know, you're right. You know, these big clubs sometimes, you know, like Chelsea, as you mentioned, you know, they get in great players and then they just kind of get rid of them, or they don't fit their style, whatever. And of course, Bayern last year too, changed managers as well. And so now Gravenberch, you know, Tuchel isn't the one that bought Gravenberch. You know, that was Nagelsmann last summer. And so now I think Gravenberch, this could maybe, I'm kind of more on the positive side. I think maybe this could be an opportunity for Liverpool to go get this player at sort of a discount, because you know, his stock has fallen just because he hasn't played that much. And I'm always been one to say I'm confident in Liverpool and Klopp and identifying, the players that we bring in are good fits, or they'll make them good fits, and they'll be good for our club. Now, of course, we haven't seen a transfer saga like we've had, these last few weeks here, but I would still be confident in bringing in Gravenberch and seeing if he can be a productive player for us. And of course, again, like we mentioned before, the obvious concerns about not hitting the ground running right away and taking time to adjust. That's always going to be a concern for any young player or non-established player in the Premier League. So again, it's where we're at right now. I would certainly entertain the idea of Gravenberch. I don't think, again, I'm the fit. There certainly have to be some some coaching up to do, and some stylistic changes that we we have to make and whatever, just to get him into our team and make him fit. But I think in the end, it could end up being a good piece of business, just because of the lower cost and buying off from another club too. Is Bayern looking to include him in their plans? What are they looking to do? So we'll see. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in Gravenberch. I in a perfect world, I'd like to bring in two number sixes. If one of them's Gravenberch, I would certainly feel comfortable with that.
He'd more be a squad player for the 8, and like the 8 position for me, like the box to box cover for Sobo and McAllister and Curtis Jones, and working that. I know he can play 6 and he's got the skills for it, but I just don't see him being the first choice for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a a square peg in a round hole. I think it is.
Yeah.
It would be an interesting fit. But again, like I said, you bring in maybe a couple players and then kind of work around it again at a discounted price. We're hunting in the bargain bin right now anyway, so this would kind of fit that kind of move there.
We're hunting in the bargain bill when everyone knows we've got a wad of 50s in our back pocket.
Exactly. It's backwards.
Right. So as we move into the second half of this, we're gonna talk about the 3 sixes of Premier League experience that we've been linked with. So João Palhinha, Cheick Doucoure, and Tyler Adams. So if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. It's a fan channel. We've got over 500 of you in here. We've got 103 likes. If we can get that to 150 likes, and we're only 10 subscribers away from 9.1k, road to 10k. Please subscribe. Then we can start to charge Kev TV merchandise. Kev.com. Can just put Kev's face on a t-shirt. Everyone would buy it.
No.
But out of your Liverpool, let's say Liverpool are going to sign one. They're going to sign João Palhinha, Cheick Doucoure, or Tyler Adams. In the chat, tell me which one of those 3 you would want and why. I don't just want a name, because I can't just bring up your names. I want to know the rationale behind it. And we're going to go around these guys. Kev hoodies. You're so right. Everybody wants it, don't they? Do you know what? If you put the hood up like that, and then it's got Kev's face here, that would be amazing. Anyway.
Not big enough, mate. Anyway, let's move on.
So, in the chat, out of the 3, Palhinha, Doucoure, Adams, which one you want and why do you want it? Kev, for you, out of those 3, which one do you want and why do you want them?
I would, out of the 3, I would go with Doucoure. He's 23. He's versatile. He can play defensive midfield, but he can also play centre-back as well. So there's a bit of versatility with him. So he can go into there. He's right-footed. I think he played 34 games last season for Crystal Palace. No injury worries. So for me, you're gaining with a player who can automatically is giving you about 90% of and plus in game time alone. You've got a player that knows the league. He's adapted to the league, and it allows you for the player to come straight in and fit in like a glove. Yet there'll be certain things that you'll need to work on in training as to the makeup of how we play. I think we can look at the stats of Doucoure, but it's for a team. And if you look at the stats at Lens as well, and I know people will go, well, it's the French league comparison to the Premier League. He's played under Hodgson, which is not very a progressive team. I think he can adapt. I think there's room to grow with him. I think we can make him into a star, and that's mainly what we normally do with players. And I think the challenge with Klopp, it keeps with the energy of the team. A young team makes Klopp an energetic person, and you see that this season. He looks more energetic, more up for the fight, and that's mainly down to the players we brought in and how young the team is looking as well. And for me, I think you could make potentially Doucoure into potentially our equivalent of a Casado.
No, Tyler he makes a great point here. Cheick Doucoure, he may not be a great progressor, but he breaks up play brilliantly. His progressive passes per 90 are 0.57. He is not known as someone who will push the ball forward. His progressive carries are 0.53 a game. He's in the bottom 12% and bottom 9% for progressive carries and progressive passing. But as Kev rightly says, tackles top 23%, interceptions top 6%, blocks top 22%, clearances top 18%. The guy is, to all intents and purposes, an absolute destroyer, a Momo Sissoko type athletic movement. If you're playing a high press tackling game and that's all you want him to do, a bit like Joe Worsley in the England rugby team, couldn't play rugby, but he could tackle. He'd be the perfect type of person.
Yep.
But how many for you? Palhinha, Doucoure, Adams? Which one are you going with if you can only have one?
This is a difficult one because I like Doucoure and I like Palhinha. There's pros and cons for both of them. Palhinha, obviously, he has the experience. He's more composed in that position. When I watch Doucoure, he goes to ground a lot. He does commit a lot of fouls as well. And another problem is that AFCON, when AFCON comes along, he has to go. And what does that mean? Unless we're going to buy two, then fair enough. That's not a problem. But if we're just going to get him alone, then it's going to be a problem because we're only going to have him for a little while, and then he has to go off to AFCON. And God forbid if he gets injured at AFCON, we don't have a DM. So that's the only disadvantage when I look at Doucoure. But everything else, there's an upside to it. Obviously, he can improve with his composure, his tackling, his timing. Obviously, the progressive passes and everything. He can improve in that. But the whole AFCON situation is a big issue, and him committing a lot of fouls can be a big issue for us as well. Going into a tackle, wrong timing creates an issue where we have to we can see the free kick in a dangerous area. Those are the things we have to look at. But a Palhinha, I feel like he's a little bit more polished than a Doucoure. Obviously, he's been playing for longer. He has more experience. He's been doing it for big clubs for a long time as well. And I feel like he'll be a guy that he can literally drive with the ball. I don't know why people feel like he's a slow player, because he's not. He can move. The guy can move, and he has a great tackling. He doesn't go to ground as much, and he has the great progressive passing as well that we need in that position. So that is the reason why I would choose him over Doucoure. So I'll choose Palhinha.
Logistics can cover for Doucoure during AFCON.
No, I'm sorry.
Seriously, no. Rami's gone for Palhinha. Kev's gone for Doucoure. I'm assuming you're going to go for Tyler Adams, being American race. But before you answer, Palhinha, top 1% for tackles, leading Premier League tackler in last season, top 25% for interceptions, top 34% for blocks, top 12% for clearances, top 9% for aerials won. Like, as a defensive midfielder, it is everything you want. But the same as Doucoure, progressive passes, bottom 5%. Progressive carries, bottom 2%, less so than Doucoure. Progressive passes, bottom 6%. Both these players just smash things apart and go, done my job. Other people do stuff. Can a Liverpool player really just do a singular job, Race?
I think you got to be able to do multiple and be able to adapt and because we ask so much of our players, especially in that number 6 role, it's going to be important. And I'll just say, when Harmy asked, who's going to cover for Doucoure, if we bring him in and when he goes to AFCON, I'd say Tyler Adams would be our cover because why not bring him in both Doucoure and Adams? I'm going to pound the table for my American here. He's got a 20 million. Was it 20 million release clause? Is it? I think that's it's a relatively cheap thing to do if you would bring him in. In addition to another one, because I know his injury record. It's not the best. Of course, played with Leeds, and they got relegated. So, though he was injured, last season for them. So again, the injury record, but I think he's, would be a really nice squad player there. He's a really good, he can fill in at right back as well. He's even, played that position before. When Trent goes forward, he can cover that position. Tremendous leader as well. He was the captain for us at the World Cup. He was our best player at the World Cup. I can't lie of my bias of Tyler Adams here. That's just going to come here. I'd love to see an American in Liverpool. That would be a dream come true. But I understand he would definitely be in a more reserved role for us. I certainly would. Doucoure would be my pick here. Absolutely. I think he checks all the boxes, Premier League experience, and all the points that, Kevin Harmy made about, maybe the Palace system wasn't the best for him. He was still their player of the year last year, but if you look at his tape in France and you can see the potential there, and the price tag, it's not a price tag that we would certainly shy away from, of course, from what we've shown, so that's something that we could, activate and work on, in negotiation there. But yeah, Doucoure would be would be my top pick right now. He's still relatively young, 23 years old, still his best days ahead of him. So, of course, my solution, if he's gone, when he's gone for AFCON, then we got Tyler Adams to back him up.
Now, there we go. We've covered all three straight away.
Yeah. Yep.
It seems us, Twitter and YouTube discussions, no one can agree on a collective DM. You look at everything in all the comments and the chats, names are getting, I know a lot of people are talking about Luiz. There's not really been any strong links with Luiz recently for us, which is why we're not really talking about it. Tony makes a great point. Americans can't play football. I mean, has there ever been a world-class American footballer? I mentioned this the other day.
Yeah.
And before anyone says Tim Ream, I'll stop you right there. And if anyone says Freddie Adu, this isn't Football Manager, even though we're currently playing it.
Tim Howard?
Tim Howard, world class.
For one game of the World Cup. He has the World Cup record for most saves in a game. So,
well, Helio makes a great point, and this is probably something that we should talk about, Kev. Is everyone's currently just throwing names out there. I want this player, I want this player, I want this player, this player. Just basically think of a DM that's available. Kamara's another name that's been thrown around. Douglas Luiz has been thrown around, names thrown around. But what are the differential stats? What does this Liverpool team need from this sixth position, Kev?
It needs a prominent number 6.
What job?
What is role?
Yeah, what do you want to see them doing? What would a great 6 in this Liverpool team look like for you?
For me, that player has to have legs. He has to be the engine room. He has to be the cover. I would like to see something similar to what we had when we won the league, which was Henderson providing the work that you don't actually see on the pitch. And that is just basically breaking down players and when he can and starting attacks off and getting us on the front foot as quickly as possible, but have an engine on them and the legs that allows them to do that. That's fundamentally what we want. I totally agree with Elliot. We are now in a position where we're throwing names out and everyone's not happy for one reason or another as to who we want. Now, unless you're getting a Camavinga or Valverde, there's no one who's going to be happy with any who comes in, because there'll be an alternative that people will say should have come in because of stats, etc., or this player should have came in for this reason. No one's going to be happy. We're fractured at the minute, and what you see in the fan base is basically what we are like off the pitch at the moment, which is fractured and all over the place. And we're throwing names around as though, we'll go for him. It's not the right process. We need to take a calm approach. We need to take a step back and literally decide what we actually, and ask that question you just asked me. What do we actually want this number 6 to do? What do we want this player to do for us that makes us into a title winning side? Now, is it similar to what we have? Why we were linked with Caicedo? Is that the kind of 6 that we want? We want someone who's got the physicality, can break up play, but then starts us on the front foot as quickly as possible. Some people would like me would like that to be someone that goes unnoticed in the game, like Henderson used to be when we won the league. He does all the dirty work for you. Runs around that pitch, runs ragged, gives his whole half of the team, and then gets us in that front place and allows the players like Trent and for McAllister and Slobosly to get on the ball and get us going. That's what ideally we all want. The problem is that as it's an opinion based, and when you're asking the fan base, everyone's got different alternatives and different opinions on it. And that's where we're not always going to agree. And that's why you've asked us who we wanted, and all three of us went for three different players for different reasons. And that just sums us up at the minute. Who would you be your number 6, and what would you like out of it? What should we be looking for?
I'm the one asking the question.
Behind the host bit, thinking you can get away with murder with this and that and putting us in this situation. But no, honestly, because we all have a different opinion on it, and it gives us a sense of where we all are that even us can't agree, and that's what makes it better, I think.
I think for me, if to answer truthfully, and I threw it out casually earlier, which was like, it reminded me of what we need is in the England rugby days, when England rugby were really good, 2005, same time as Liverpool, it was great. They had a player called Neil Back and Joe Worsley, and these were flankers, and their job was just to destroy everything. So whatever the opposition were trying to build, they just steamrolled in and destroyed it, and then we would get a penalty and Johnny Wilkinson would kick over the posts. So a bit like Javier Mascherano, Momo Sissoko, a player who is just so mobile that he can just stop whatever's happening. And because we're trying this, and I don't like it, I don't like the 3-2 thing because it's pulling someone diagonal, it leaves space. You just hang someone out on the left wing and then make them attack behind Trent the second we lose the ball in a press. If you've got that destroyer who's quick, and I mean proper quick, they can get over there and smash into that player. And 2 tackles at full force, which I think Doucoure can do, by the way. I think 2 tackles at full, they're not sprinting at full pace anymore because they're expecting someone to come sliding in from the side, and that's what Doucoure does. So for me, I'd probably go for that type of player, that type of aggressive, intimidating, powers down at pace. I don't think Sangare's got the pace for it. I think he's quick. I think, for me, Palhinha's a lot more upstairs. I think he's a very clever defensive midfielder. I don't think he's slow, but I don't think he is that we've pulled our entire team out of position, you sprint and get there, because that's what it'll do. Tyler Adams can do it, but he'll probably pull a hamstring at the 3rd time of doing it in a game. So my preference would be Doucoure, but we have got here on LFC Transfer Room, Fabrizio Romano, Liverpool submit a formal bid for Japanese midfielder Wataru Endo. Now, he is 5'10", 30 years old. This feels like a squad signing. You know, his tackles are top 48%. Interceptions, progressive passing. He's a bit of a clearances, top 5%. Aerials, one top 4%. So he's a bit of a squad player. That's a bit, Adi and Rabiot type player. That's who he compares with. Gavi, Gay, Casemiro, statistically, he's that big aerial presence. Harmony, you're scratching your head. You can't get your head around this one, can you? I can tell by your face. You're not with this one, Harmony?
What's that to really say? Honestly, what's that to really say? God, I feel like the best way to just describe it, if you just let the comments do the talking, then they'll probably describe it. They'll probably express exactly how we're all feeling, knowing that we just found this out. Oh God. Look, I'm just gonna say that I feel like there's the perfect midfielder that we can get. He's basically Fab when Fab was in his prime, or if not yet, but he's really close. Luis, the guy is literally everything that we just described. How we want someone to be more progressive, to have different ranges of passing. He can tackle, he can move, he has everything. So I also understand that, if we go ahead and get him, that's gonna take away all our budget because he has a massive release clause. But really and truly, in a position that is so important in the team, sometimes you just have to take that risk. Sometimes you just have to go for it. And if the owners really want this team to succeed, then give us a bigger budget, bring some more money in there because we do need a centre back. So that's where I really stand. And regarding this Japanese,
Wataru Endo.
Yeah,
doesn't get injured.
I have nothing.
That's a positive.
I have nothing to say. Honestly, that's it.
I tell you what. Whilst Harmony has a nervous breakdown race, let me give you some of the key stats. Because obviously a lot of you haven't heard of this player. I haven't heard of this player, so I'm just looking at some of it now. He is a general all-round midfielder. He's a bit, key passes, top 30%, average, yellow cards, quite high. He's a defensive midfielder, but he feels like a Milner replacement. To someone to come in the last 10 minutes and play out a game. He does not look like he's going to solve our problems. Looking at this, as much as the guy is never injured and always available, so was Milner, but this guy looks like he's just going to be a squad player who can play in a couple of positions, mainly sort of defensive midfielder and box-to-box midfielder. I don't think it's anything that's going to solve our sixth problem. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd certainly hope that this wouldn't be the only signing we would make for number 6. Like you said, it seems like yeah, I certainly hope. But it seems like it's a squad player type move. It's something to make a spot start here and there. Of course, if we sign someone who's going to be in AFCON in January, this is maybe a guy to fill in that role a little bit. I think, again, I don't know much about this player. I'm looking up the stats and whatnot. See, the durability is a good thing to see.
Center back,
obviously,
DM.
Yeah. If he can play center back, who knows? I don't know. Well, I don't think we'd be asking him to do that, or I'd want that. But, it's of course this, we want to see the bigger name necessarily, the bigger move first before we sign, a squad player. Because again, if we, like we didn't secure any of the other past midfield targets, then we're kind of stuck with this guy, and then we'd really be up in arms. So I think, it's nothing more than would just be kind of a depth addition here. But again, I still am not going to be, fully satisfied or fully confident until we bring in, a bigger name or someone who's will be our long-term solution, because this clearly wouldn't be a move for that.
No, Kev, one of the things that's the big problem here is we have 3 non-homegrown players, and we're about to give it to a squad player, a 30-year-old Japanese player who's probably not going to be starting week in, week out. Sorry, Harmony, I can see you breaking. I'm coming to you eventually so that you can... If we're linked with 2 midfield, we wanted 2 midfielders and we wanted a centre-back. And it didn't seem like we could do that without using all 3 non-English players. This probably gives us an indication that we might get 1 more midfielder and maybe the centre-back, or what are you thinking?
I'm thinking the way Harmony is that probably he is going to be a squad player. and if we do go all in for Doucoure, is what they're saying, then this is your alternative that comes in and provides the cover while he's away. It's a bit. This is. I tend to agree. It is kind of on par.
He's
with
fitter than Arthur Mello. He's always available at least.
Oh God.
This is probably the best joke that George Cheick has actually said during his time as Liverpool sporting director. It's baffling. The only thing, the reason I think we're into it is because by lo and behold, we've turned around to him and gone, who would you recommend? And he's come up with this player. Now, I don't know how he knows what this player can do, but you know, it's you'll only have to look at the comments. This is way out there. This is like, wow. This is like, we need to get an ambulance to Harmony's house because it is going to be. It's mad though, because this is the weirdest thing about it all, is that, you know, is it genuinely true? Is it come from a genuine journalist?
Yeah, Fabrizio confirmed it.
Fab. Yeah.
Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah.
Harmony. I mean, Rabadam said here, Hendo in, Hendo out, Endo in. Thank you very much for the donation. And we're going to leave your comment up. And I'm going to force Harmony to do the comparison. Hendo out, Endo in.
Oh, please don't do this to me right now.
Come on. The guy's giving good money for this comment.
Let's not do this. I'm sorry. I'm glad. Thank you for your donation, but please, let's not do this. Yeah, I don't know what to say, honestly. Kev, I don't know how you found something to say there, because
no, but it is genuinely it is off the scale, and there's nothing against this play, by the way, and it's not. I think the way we are at the minute, as we're easily touched as a fan base at the minute. So any names that go out there, we go off our heads, and a lot of people will do. We got it, but as someone's quite rightly said, you know, I know we're laughing and joking about it. There was kickoffs when Wijnaldum was coming to Liverpool, and everyone was going off the heads that we brought him in, and he actually done a really good job. I'm not saying he will, but honestly, you know, I don't want to tarnish a player before he comes in, because that's the worst thing you can do as a fan, to do that. But this is very, very much scraping the barrel if we're looking at someone of 30 years old who can come in and do a job for us. There has to be something else that's coming in, and that makes me think, the sense-wise, would say that he is going to be part of the squad, and we will. But I agree with you. We shouldn't be given a non-homegrown place to a squad player. But that's where we are at the minute, and that's what's going to happen.
Honestly, I'll take Tyler Adams over him at this point. I would take Tyler Adams. I know we were just literally just getting onto Tyler Adams not too long ago, but I would take him over whoever this person is, because this is embarrassing. I'm sorry. This is absolutely embarrassing.
It reminds me of, do you remember when we signed Asuma Saidi?
Yeah.
Out from Hereven, out of nowhere, and we were like, well, could this work? Could this not work? Could this be a player? Could this not be a player? I think, you know, a lot of people are saying Kabak and are saying Arta. Do you know what? This is a player who's physically fit. Like, you can see it for the last 4 seasons, he's never missed a minute. So we know he keeps himself in good nick. So from that perspective, it's healthy for us.
Why are you doing this?
Because it's my job, family.
That's unfortunate. We've got to do. Everyone was kicking off. We've all kicked off about certain players coming in.
No, if we sign Caicedo and then we'd assign this player, everyone would be like,
"That's the reason why."
Player. We've got the main one. This is a squad. It might just be a timing problem. This might have been our senior replacement, cheap. Not going to play a lot of minutes. Going to be there for the squad. Going to get us a bit of money from Asia. That's the whole premise of it. And we've gone, well, unfortunately, this has all gone to left. So I don't know. It's one of those. I'm not going to judge a player until I see him put on the red shirt. And what I've always seen from Japanese players is they give everything on the pitch.
Yeah.
Like, whenever, they're never the most technically skillful players or anything like that. But I tell you what, if you're playing a pressing formation, Japanese players press. It's what Minamino was always good at. He just worked his socks off and he never complained about it. So hopefully we've got one of those, but I think none of us really know that much about him.
Yeah.
And of all the players we've linked today, Race, I mean, he's not the name that's come up so far. It's very Liverpool signing, isn't it? Just out of nowhere, random name no one's ever heard of. Here you go.
Yeah, we're so desperate to cling to any sort of player who has a pulse and who can play the six, and regardless of their stature or whatever. It's when I first looked up the player, I was hoping to there'd be some positive thing. Oh, we got a bid for a player. Let's see what it is. And I see 30 years old. I'm like, what? I was just But then you think about it's probably coming in to be a squad player, or if there's any move to be made here. Again, I just hope and pray that there's another big move, or there's a main target, and maybe it's Doucoure, maybe it's someone else. That's going to be our main move. Again, it's just backwards that we're buying the squad player before we buy the main man, because again, you never know. You're never guaranteed getting that main player, your main target. Because then who knows is going to be knocking into negotiations, whatever. So it's just very. I don't like how we're doing our business backwards here.
Yes, Muse. We're doing extra time because we've just been connected to a player. And it's all seemingly going forward. So we might as well talk about it and stuff like that. And as crazy as the connection is, you see on the LFC transfer room Twitter, basically Todd Bowley's connected, like tagged by all Liverpool fans under it. Maybe Schumacher's dyslexic and he meant to sign Enzo, but in the end he signed Endo. Liverpool have shown interest in Harry Maguire. Chelsea have responded by saying they're not falling for that. And Liverpool journos are confirming Endo now, so it does look like it's one of those. Now, all I can say from my perspective is I hope that means we're still keeping our big chunk of change for a big signing, and we're trying to get a really strong DM, and we're trying to work on something big as opposed to what we all talked about and what we've been talking about all stream is breaking that 100 million into 3 or 4 different players, or maybe it is being put towards a particular player. Maybe it's not. It's FSG. Nothing would surprise me. Now, let's go to some of the questions that you've had during the stream, and we'll do that before we sort of come off. A lot of people are talking about Andre, Kev, and I think any player who is a Brazilian international 100% need to be in for. Doesn't matter that he's playing for Fluminense. He's a full Brazilian international, Andre, and looks like we probably can't get him to January. So do you sign a DM now like Doucoure and then you bring Andre in? I know he's a 6/9, but do you bring him in January and do it that way?
If I'll be looking to try and bring him in now, if possible, if the funds are there to be available. But with us signing Endo and probably someone else, I doubt that's going to be the case. But I would definitely be bringing him in January. That's your Thiago replacement. They're in his nutshell. You've got a Brazilian player. He's very quick as well. He gets about the pitch quite a lot. So he can play some sort of role as that. Very progressive as a player. Small, dynamic. It's just a shame that we don't go into the South American market more often because there are quality players over there. I don't know why we have to wait for them to come to Europe and go to the likes of a Brighton or to Real Madrid or someone like that before we start going, why weren't we in for them?
Straight to Portugal and over to us, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, and that's where I feel we let ourselves down with our scouting because we always look majority in Europe. If I want a defensive midfielder, I want someone from Argentina, from Brazil, from the South American leagues who are strong and love going in for the tackle and don't care about the fakes or what they look like. They get stuck in, and that's the kind of player that I You saw what Javi Mascherano produced at Liverpool, and you mentioned him before. Quality player, but we don't. We're very tentative going in for players especially from South America, and I wish we would do a lot more, because there's a lot. You used to say we couldn't have got Valverde as well. Do you know what I mean? It's sad in a way that we miss out on these great little talents that are there, and there'll be other little gems there. Why are other teams going there and we don't? It's what I want. I like a fighter. I like someone with that kind of streetwise tenacity about them. It's the kind of thing you saw with Suarez with us, which is what you kind of want, that kind of player. But no, I'm all in for Andre. I'm sold on him. I've been up. Sadly, I wanted Fluminense to go out to the Copa Libertadores, but unfortunately, it doesn't look the case. So January it is for me.
Now, thank you very much for the donation, Harmony. I think this pretty much summarizes how you're feeling right now, doesn't it? What Bilal should say here: 100 million gone back to Boston. Klopp let down again. Endo looks to be actually, a real link and something that's really happening. Harmony broken on stream. I mean, does this pretty much summarize how you're feeling at this moment in time? It may get better, but at the moment.
I'm gonna try to be positive about this. I'm gonna kind of go over what Kev said. This guy could be, just a squad player. Once, if we're gonna get, the Doucoures, if he's gonna come in when he goes off to AFCON, he can be, someone that can play in that position. I hope, going off that comment, I hope it's not true, because we need that money. Klopp needs that money. Liverpool needs that money, because we need to get at least 2 players before this window ends. If not 2, then at least 3, because we've kind of shown our hand that we have the money there. It's just that is the owners willing to let that money go and let Klopp actually go out and buy these players. So let's just see how this goes. You never know, this might not be the only addition that's coming in this week. Hopefully, we get some sort of announcement soon enough on the next player they're actually serious about, and and then we just take it from there.
Brace, saw the chat. Well done, man. How are you feeling with the link and that comment there, which is 100 million gone back to Boston? Do you think it's no? Do you know what? We're going to put this money towards something good, or are you sort of they might be hedging it for another transfer window where they're going to make a big move?
Well, I certainly hope we splash big, on a player this summer or this window and get some win, because we need it. And we've shown our cards. We're willing to spend the money, so it's no secret that we want to and we can. It's all about the owners and the ambition and just so much just frustration and just seeing everything transpire over the last couple of weeks, and we have no excuse not to buy a player this window in the next couple of weeks. There's no excuse. It has to get done as before the window closes.
Okay, I completely agree. And if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate everything. We're on the road to 10K now. We're at 9.1 subscribers. Got nearly 150 likes on this. Helio points out Endo's 50 caps for Japan. Played at DM, central defender, 133 matches for Stuttgart, never injured. Yeah, all right, it may seem like a bit of a squad player and stuff like that, but just to sort of close out the stream, Liverpool's a special club when everyone's pointing in the same direction. We're all behind anything. And I think we got so close to that with Caicedo, of everyone thinking this is our midfield solution solved. Look at how good this squad is. Look at how good the attack is. Look at how good the midfielders. Look at how good the defence is going to be. We just need a left centre-back and we're all sorted. And obviously with Chelsea coming in and offering a lifetime worth of Twixes, that's ruined us on a couple of transfers. But let's hope that Endo is the first of a few signings to happen over the next few days, and let's hope one of them's big and is going to solve our problems. We're not sure what the perfect DM is. We're not sure who Liverpool are going to sign. And if we've learned anything from this Endo transfer coming completely out of left wing, is we probably don't know as much as all these in the nose think they do when it comes to these signings. This is LFC Transfer Room. Thank you very much to Race, Harmony, and Kev for joining me on this one. Let's go Liverpool. Let's smash Bournemouth, sign a 6, win the league. Man City are weakened with KDB being out for 4 to 6 months, so there's no reason why we can't make a massive push if we get a good number 6 in. Never walk alone, everyone. We'll catch you on the next one.